Hi guys, I hope everything is well with everyone. I hope everybody had a great weekend. I hope y'all enjoyed the last podcast that I basically broadcast. That was my first episode ever. This is another episode of the Stasia podcast and personal talk. I don't know if that's gonna be the title. Still thinking of a better title to call my podcast, but for now I have it as my own name for now. I don't know if I'm gonna keep it that way. I don't know if I'm gonna change it, but everything is like a work in process. I don't have everything planned out. I'm just going off the fly for now. But yeah, I hope everybody had a great weekend. I hope y'all enjoyed the weekend. And yeah, I don't y'all could kind of probably tell I don't know what the hell to talk about, and I don't. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna be kind of all over the place with this one. I am. It's not gonna be a real structured podcast. It might be, I don't know. I'm gonna just see how it goes, see what we can talk about. But yeah, I don't want to talk about the cliche things like relationships and stuff. That's so cliche. And plus, like, me personally, like I said, this podcast is gonna be personal talks as well. And to be honest, personally, I don't really consider myself to have enough experience when it comes to relationships, because I haven't really, not the type to date everybody. I haven't had that many men boyfriends in my life, so I don't think I'm very well versed when it comes to that topic anyway. So, but yeah, maybe in the near future I will talk about relationships and my personal experience with quote unquote relationships, if you want to call those relationships. I don't even consider it, but that's neither here or there. Next topic. I want to talk about like the podcast culture. So yeah, everybody want to do podcasts now, and I'm not gonna lie, it's a lucrative business. It's something lucrative to do on YouTube. Everybody and their grandmother has a podcast. Old rappers you thought were washed up and making one hit wonders have podcasts now. And honestly, I do believe podcast is the new radio. Of course, back in the day, we had like things such as the Breakfast Club, Hot 97 morning talk shows, whatever that was called, with Rosenberg and stuff. And of course, like, you gotta pay homage to those that paved the way. But all due respect, I feel as though, respectfully, like podcasts, or should I say radio shows, that's what it's originally called. Podcast is nothing but like a radio show without the music. That's all a podcast really is. And a lot of these people before our times, and when I mean before our times, I mean like the millennials, the Gen Z babies like myself. Like, you had Wendy Williams, you had Charlemagne and stuff like that. And I'm not saying they still not prevalent, but they will always be prevalent. They the ones that definitely paved the way for people to do podcasts anyway, but now it's safe to say, like, radio in a retrospect is kind of dying down. A lot of people don't really listen to radio that much no more. So the premises of radio and talk shows and morning shows on the radio is kind of slowly dying out, so podcast is taking over. A lot of people, anybody can make a podcast, and depending on what your content and what you're talking about on your podcast could be valuable. Now, since we're talking about podcasts and stuff, what's my favorite podcast? What do I get inspired to what podcast kind of inspires me and what I watch on a daily basis? I'm not gonna lie, I watch Joe Budden. I love Joe Budden podcast, Joe Rogan as well. I'm not gonna lie, when it comes to Joe Rogan, I kind of stopped watching him for a little bit because he did have like a controversial, remark to say about, certain culture of people. And he called a certain specific, race of people monkeys. So I stopped watching him for a little bit because of that. And, I kind of do miss watching him religiously because he do have interesting people on his podcast. He do give a lot of educational insight on certain things, and he do speak about conspiracy, theories. So I do miss watching Joe Rogan and Alex Jones and stuff on his podcast. But yeah, what else podcasts I like to watch? I like to watch Angela Yee, Lip Service. And speaking of Angela Yee, that's how I know like talk shows and radio shows are kind of like simmering down, because like the other week was her last week on the Breakfast Club, and anybody knows the Breakfast Club, that was like one of the most influential radio shows of our time. So yeah, since she's not there no more, it's kind of like, what's the purpose of listening to radio in the morning, listening to radio talk shows in the morning without her being on the Breakfast Club? Even though I'm not gonna lie, Charlamagne is kind of the star of the Breakfast Club, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna miss Angela Yee on here, but I still watch her on, Lip Service. I'm glad she's doing her thing now. She got her own platform, and I think she got another platform where she's speaking about money management, how to invest, and how to basically save your money and spend it on things that's worthwhile. So that's kind of interesting to see, given the fact that, with her being on Lip Service, and with that podcast, they talk a lot about some raunchy stuff, like sexual explicit things. But to see her in that kind of element, that's going to be nice. I'm not going to lie, because I'm not going to lie, I don't be wanting to listen to all that all the time, about people's sex lives and stuff. That's not interesting to me. I don't care about that much. Don't get me wrong, I'm a human being. I do like a little sex story here and there, but I don't care about that when it comes to her. So it's gonna be nice to see her have certain guests on her show, talk about how to manage money, how to invest in certain businesses, what's the best business moves to take, what money moves you should be making in the new year. So I'm definitely interested in seeing that. What else? Young Miami podcast. Carisha, please. I'm definitely love that podcast. Young Miami got a dope personality. She's so funny, and it's news circulating that her podcast might be canceled soon. So I'm not looking forward to that. I'm kind of sad about that, because like she just started her podcast. Like her podcast was just like getting some heat. She even won BET Awards for her podcast. So it's kind of unexpected that her podcast is ending so soon, because she just begun and she just got an award, and I was definitely rooting for her. But hopefully she could revamp her podcast. I do notice that she have a lot of guests. Every episode she have guests on her podcast, and probably she can do something else with that. She could probably, somebody in the comment section said she could get Saucy Santana and JT as a co-host. That would be dope too, because that episode with them was so nice. Like, I love their energy, I love their chemistry as friends. So they should do something, the three of them collectively, with a podcast. That would be so dope. Because that's another thing too, like Young Miami, every episode she want to have somebody, a guest on her episode, and eventually that's going to get old. Not everybody going to be inclined to do an episode with her, or due respect, because like the type of questions she be asking, she be very invasive. But it's funny though, like, and a lot of people not open with, telling their business like that. So yeah, Young Miami, she definitely, she's funny, but she could scare a lot of people away, especially if they don't know how to live in their truth or be truthful with themselves. And she having people that shy on the show. Like, that episode with Sweetie, that was a snooze fest. All due respect, like, Sweetie was just like, Sweetie a pretty girl. Loved her outfit on the episode and everything, but I'm like, yo, can you get somebody else? I was just tired of, like, I was just tired, And then she had Megan Thee Stallion. That was alright, but you could kind of tell, like, they was doing too much. She was acting all gay with her. Like, Young Miami, you not about that life, right? Like, you was making homophobic comments on Twitter, and now you want to talk about you want to scissor Megan and all that. Like, okay, like, you know what I mean? I kind of felt like she was trying to get some views off of that, but it's all good though, you know, I guess. But yeah, like, I just want, you know, her to do a podcast. I want her to keep her podcast, but do, like, make opinions about certain things, have her friends, Saucy and them on there. That would be so dope. Like, for real, I would love that. You know, and then she could have guests once in a while, because I feel like when you bring guests on your show, it should be for a special occasion. You know, like, I noticed with Joe Budden, he don't be doing all that. Like, he brings guests on the show, but not every day, you know. It was a time where he did, though, but I feel like that's when Maul and Rory left the show, though. And I love Rory and Maul's show. That they show shot out, man. Rory and Maul, after they left Joe Budden, they did their own thing. That was cool, you know. I love, they so funny together, for real. Like, they shot out. They really shot out. Like, oh my God. I miss them with Joe, but damn, they amazing without him too. Like, I'm sorry to say it like that, but I'm glad they branched off in a way without Joe. I really do. But yeah, back to Joe Budden. He don't be having guests every day on his show. Like, once in a while, once in a blue moon, once on a special occasion. And that's how Young Miami should do it. Like, she shouldn't have guests every day, because that kind of take away from the specialty. Like, your podcast not really special no more when you do that like that. So yeah, like, I hope Young Miami figures something out, because, like, I do like her podcast. I do like what she has to bring. Her personality is stunning, so funny, you know. Her, JT, Saucy together is so funny. Like, hope she figures something out, because I know Diddy invested so much into his Boo Boo podcast, and for that to go and get canceled, I don't think that's going to be, you know, good like that. I don't think that's going to be a great move. But then again, all jokes aside, everything that Diddy put his hands on just goes to poop anyway, you know. Making the band, Bad Boy Records, everything he do, like, everybody he invests in just goes to the dust. Like, not saying Young Miami gonna go to the dust, but messing with Diddy is gonna be another Bad Boy Records on her hand. You know, we know what happened to Bad Boy, we know what happened with everybody on the record label, so I don't want that to happen to her. You know, but get it, girl. But yeah, like, those are my favorite podcasts. Those are the podcasts that I kind of, you know, look up to in a way and stuff. But yeah, that's all I had to say with, you know, with podcasts concerned. But yeah, of course, I gotta find some more podcasts to watch and stuff, but that's been on my radar for the moment, you know, for right now, for a long time. I've been watching Joe Budden for a long time and stuff like that. But of course, I could watch other people. I like watching Mike Tyson podcast. That's dope. A lot of others. There's so many podcasts to choose from. You don't even really know, like, who's, like, the best for real. Like, it's so overly saturated. And I say that with all due respect. Everybody has something to offer. Everybody has something to give in the podcast industry. And, you know, yeah, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful, you know, industry, I guess, you know. So, not I guess, but, you know, it got potential, man. It got potential. People, you know, people profiting off of it, getting Spotify deals. God bless them. God bless them, for real. But, yeah, what kind of TV shows y'all be watching? I'm thinking about probably doing TV reviews on certain shows and things, if I have time. Like I said, I do work and stuff, so I barely have time for TV that much. But when I do get a chance, what shows y'all recommend me to watch and things? Like, I don't know. I know one thing for sure, like, Krishan and Blueface, they terrible. They little reality show look crazy. Like, I saw a preview of it, because I think it premiered a couple days ago, like the 11th. But yeah, they show is so ridiculous. Like, Blueface, like, first of all, Krishan, like, I saw like a trailer of Krishan father. He confronted Blueface about, you be hitting my daughter and stuff. And, like, Blueface and him, it was just, a fight just broke out between them two. I'm like, what the hell? Like, I would be so embarrassed. Like, my boyfriend is fighting my dad, especially on TV. Like, that is crazy. And I'm not gonna lie, like, Blueface was a little disrespectful, but he just a disrespectful person, I guess. You know, he seems disrespectful. Look how he be treating Krishan, for God's sakes. Like, of course he gonna treat her dad like, you know, shit, you know? So, it's just sad. When it comes to their union, their little situationship, or whatever you want to call that, it's just a doggone shame. It is a doggone shame, for real, you know? Krishan, she's a beautiful girl. She literally messed up her whole body, her neck, putting that boy face tattoo on her neck. Like, what the hell is wrong with her? Like, she need to get therapy. She be walking around with no tooth and stuff. Like, it's a damn shame, like, a pretty girl like that really let a man like that bring her down. Physically, emotionally, mentally, probably. Because she seemed like she a little off, too. She a pretty girl, but she a little touched dealing with that nigga. Like, I mean, she came from Baltimore and stuff. I heard her backstory. You know, she had it rough growing up. You know, I think her mother had like 8 kids or something. Mad kids in the household. She like the second youngest. You know, public assistance, Section 8. You know, came from all that. And there's nothing wrong with that, but at the end of the day, like, she used to be a track star in high school, and then going from that to this, being Blueface girlfriend that he just be using. Like, he be talking bad about her, beating her up. He be sleeping with other women on her in front of her face in public. He be smashing his baby mother, literally. Like, his baby mother literally came on somebody podcast show. Megan off of Bad Girls Club. Love her too. I want to see her podcast, but yeah, she literally went on her podcast and was like, yeah, me and Blueface still be having, you know, sexual relations with each other. I don't care about their relationship. Straight disrespecting the girl. I just hope Krishan wakes up eventually, you know. It's just sad, you know. Things like that makes me don't even want to get into, you know, a serious relationship with nobody, because, like, this is the type of games we playing in 2022, about to be 2023. Like, this is what relationships have succumbed to in this day and age. Like, I really began jealous of my mother and my grandparents and what they had to deal with when it comes to relationship and life in general. Like, life in general and relationships seems so much better back in the days, and damn, my mother had to have me in 1998, and I have to put up with this bullshit in this world. Like they had it so good back in the day. I'm so jealous of my mother in the way they came up, in the way that, you know, they ain't had to go through this mess with, you know, relationships and stuff. Not saying they, you know, men didn't cheat and stuff back in the day, but it's just like with social media and everything, it's just amplified. Everything is so heightened. Like, everything is heightened now. Like, everything is in your face. Like, it's just sad. It is, you know. But I hope Krishana gets some, you know, cojones and leave that boy one day. You know, she's a beautiful girl. I hope she take that stupid ass tattoo off her neck too. That look crazy. But yeah, they just, both of them, they both ignorant. They both annoying. Like, they both need help. They both need couch time, therapy, all that. You know, they both not right in the head. You know, they couldn't be. He dealing with her, she dealing with him. They toxic. Like, there's nothing wrong with having a little toxicity in your relationship, but that right there, that's like doing too much. You fighting each other in public. Shit, even Ike and Tina wasn't that horrible. Like, they ain't do all that in like, alright, I'm lying. They ain't do that on TV for the most part. Like, geez, like, horrible. And yeah, speaking of Ike and Tina, rest in peace to Tina Turner's son. He was like 64. I know that was so random, but yeah, like, he passed away over the weekend. Deepest condolences to him. I know Tina Turner, she going through it. Definitely. My heart go out to her. But yeah, like, Krishana and them, Krishana, Blueface, I'll call her Krishana. I'm sorry. Why her name couldn't be Krishana? Krishan, like, I don't know. We ain't even gonna get into that. But yeah, like, they just need help. I'm done off of them. I'm done talking about them. I wouldn't even be surprised if they did all of this, because they really Shade Room stars. Like, I feel like the Shade Room broadcast them out of anybody, you know. But that's, yeah, they Shade Room solidified stars for real. Every moment they go on the Shade Room. But Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they did all these antics. I'm sorry. I'm a little tongue-tied. It's in the morning, guys. Apologize. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they did all these antics just to get a reality show, just to get publicity, Sometimes they do that. They got heightened. They gotta, bring fuel to the fire so people can give them attention. And I wouldn't be surprised if this was a ploy, for them to, act up just to get a reality show. Because that happens. And I'm not gonna lie, like, I'm one of those people that were, into them as far as, like, you didn't really have any other choice. When you on Instagram, you follow the Shade Room, they always popping up. And these are interesting. I'm not gonna lie, as far as them being crazy and all that and nuts, they are an interesting couple. You don't really, like, the things that they do, you don't really see people of our time do that. You see people talk about it. You hear people tweeting and posting about it. But they both be scrapping each other. They both be beating each other up in public. She be punching him. He be punching her. Like, that's kind of frowned upon, That's frowned upon. A boy hitting a woman. Well, yeah, a male hitting a female in public. Like, this is crazy. Like, you don't see that on a day-to-day basis. Like, you hear about it. You hear people getting beat up in their relationship, in their homes, in the privacy of their homes. But they be walking Hollywood Boulevard, beating each other up. Like, they act like crackheads or something. I'm sorry. Like, I had to... They act like a homeless couple or something. Like, they act like they doing drugs. Somebody was saying, like, they the new Whitney and Bobby. Whitney and Bobby had a little more class than them. I'm just saying. But, yeah, I'm done talking about them for real. But, yeah, that's all I had to say in this video. Spoke about, like, what's my, go-to podcast to watch? How do I feel about, certain things on TV and things? And, yeah, please, like, let me know what I should review. Because I do, like, part of me do want to do, like, live reviews on TV shows and stuff. So, yeah, I don't really know what to watch, really. Because, like I said, I don't know whether I should do that or not. Because, like, I don't really watch TV that much, but I was supposed to make a review with Power in them, when Power raising Canaan. I never got to that, so I don't know. That's just a floating suggestion. I don't know if that's gonna be concrete, but that's definitely an idea. Reviewing TV shows and stuff. I might have to make another channel for that. And that's another thing. I hate YouTube for that. Like, you can't be multi-dimensional. You gotta stick to one niche. Like, they want you to be, one specific thing. Like, if you talk about fashion, you gotta make nothing but fashion videos. Like, you can't just be well-rounded on YouTube. And that's what I miss about the old YouTube, is that, you can talk about food one day, you can do traveling videos this day. You gotta make separate channels, because if you don't, like, your algorithms could get messed up. And I know my algorithms probably all over the place. So, yeah, it's safe to say I don't know what specific niche I should stick to. I'm still feeling my way through that too. So, at the end of the day, this whole thing is a learning process. I'm still, still feeling my way, trying to see what works for me. I'm trying out a lot of things. I ain't trying out anything now, but trying out what really, interests me the most. Since I can't speak about conspiracy theories because, how YouTube feels about that, I gotta lean towards something else that's interesting to me. So, yeah, that's all I have to say. I love you guys. I'll see you on my next episode. Take care. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Love you. Mwah. Bye-bye.